are now listening to the NYYST
Podcast.
Welcome back. This is episode 218 of the NYYST podcast. I am your host, Christian. As always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
You.
And SGR.
What up?
What's up, fellas? I got a lot of requests last week not to drop the R, to keep doing it like that.
Oh,
So
yeah?
we're gonna roll with that R.
You know,
From now
Christian.
on.
Do you know Christian gets away with doing shit on the show? He just says he gets a lot of requests to do it, and then
Yeah,
he
I didn't
just
see
keeps
anything
doing it.
about that.
Just in case we were questioning it or didn't like something that he did, he tells us he gets requests for it.
I'm sorry, I'm the most popular guy in the group.
Most popularist? What are you, also in fucking 8th grade?
Good. I'm glad that you
Yeah,
didn't
what
pick
was
up on
that?
that.
Let's just
For
let's
whatever-
cut-
For
what
whatever
were you-
reason, my phone has decided that I need to hear the song "My Band" from D12 like
I love
8
that fucking
times this
song.
week. Then you would have picked up on that reference, but you didn't. So you don't. So you're a liar. You just lied to everybody.
I
Thank
fucking
you.
love that song. Apple and
Well, you-
Eminem actually have a partnership, and they're trying to make sure he doesn't get canceled. So they're
okay.
actually just slipping in Eminem songs, just randomly playing on people's iPhones over the last couple weeks.
Oh, okay. Is that why when I hit shuffle, it just
It's just all
It's like-
Eminem, right? Yeah,
it's like no, right? And then you just finally give up and let it play Eminem.
correct.
Okay.
Let's cut right to it because you're in a foul. This is what my mom used to say to me. I used to hate it. You're in a foul mood tonight.
You know who's in a foul? You know who's in a foul mood tonight?
Who?
Your mom.
Do you know when you get that close to my mom or Ryan's
That's
mom?
my mom.
No, just your mom, not Ryan's
Oh,
mom.
okay, never mind.
You know when you get too close to the microphone, it's not only annoying, but it just sounds awful.
No, I got a lot of requests that people want me to do it more this week. But what we're going to request for you to do is to head to iTunes, since they have a partnership with Eminem. After we mentioned them on the show last week, coincidence?
Funny.
And go to iTunes and leave us a 5-star rating and review. Head to YouTube, subscribe to the show there, leave us a thumbs up. Also, that's what they do there, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. And we were contacted by Amazon Music, which if you haven't signed up for yet, don't sign up right now. We'll be dropping some links. If you want to support us, you get a 3-day free trial before you have to put any money towards it, just to check it out, but it helps us out. So I'll be posting some links on the main account at NYY Sports Talk on Twitter. We'll be dropping links here all over the place. And yeah, you can find us on there too. You can find us everywhere.
You know what my favorite part of the show is?
The end.
Usually, but when Ryan and I can talk about something and you have no interest in it, so we can trigger you.
What, Wanderlust? Is it, first of all, worst
What a
fucking
mo-
name of a show.
What a moron! First of all,
That's the Paul Rudd movie.
yeah,
Ant-Man's not
Wanderlust.
in.
First of all,
That's
if
how
you
awful
knew,
the name is.
first of all, if you knew anything, you wouldn't.
WandaVision.
You'd appreciate how many levels the name WandaVision works for that show.
Okay, can I just say
Yeah,
one thing?
you would like
What's
it too, Chris.
the-
You were a big Bewitched guy. It's like
Oh, I
Bewitched
was. I
sitcom.
used to have a huge crush on Elizabeth Montgomery. What
Wow, you even know her
what's
name.
the yeah, I trust me, I know more than her name.
Jesus
What's
Christ.
what's the scene Paul Rudd had in Wanderlust in the
in
mirror?
the mirror?
Yeah, what was he saying, man? It was so funny.
Slap the bit.
No, that's
No, that was from I Love You,
no,
Man.
that's I love you, man.
I'll figure it out.
I like it a lot. He was doing something like,
I can't
oh,
fuck-
we're gonna fuck. You
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
suck.
He's like, you wanna
Can't
fuck
think of-
this?
Yeah,
Something. It was great.
something like that. I
Wow,
don't
way to
know.
lose viewers, guys! Talking about some dumb Paul
No,
Rudd
because
movie from
everyone right now
1990.
listening who's seen the movie is screaming at the radio. Screaming at the radio.
Right? Should I trigger everybody that said WandaVision is the greatest show ever?
Yeah,
Is it
I mean,
that bad?
no, it's good. It's entertaining. It's only like
I
a
don't-
half-hour episodes. Or
Yeah, I
40
mean, it
minutes.
goes by quick. So I'm started season episode 7 right before we started. So I'll probably finish tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna have the energy to put down the next 2.5 episodes. It's interesting, and I don't get everybody swallowing it, but it's interesting. I've seen worse. I've seen better. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
I'm
Agreed.
more looking forward to Falcon and the Winter Soldier this week and the Justice League. Those are more up my alley. But it's been interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. What are you gonna do?
I will say this though, that I am enjoying the different takes on the different sitcoms. Like in episode 7, she's kind of doing the Modern Family thing, and
Right.
they played
No,
homage
it's
to
a
her
cool
sister,
twist on everything.
and they played homage to her sisters with the whole Full House opening in one of the episodes.
Right.
So it's been cool. Just not everybody's like, it's the best show ever. You got, oh, haven't you watched it? Yeah, it's not. It's not. Let's relax here. Like, I know everybody wants to just everything that Disney Plus puts out is like the best thing ever. Like, I'm sure if I was a Star Wars fan and watched that Mandalorian horse shit.
Except for Dumbo, Peter Pan, and what was the other one?
No, you can watch them. You can't watch them if you have the account
No, I know
registered
they're
to a
just not
child.
good. It's not good for kids. He goes, "I'm gonna put my dick in." That's it.
Yeah. I'm gonna put my dick in.
Great scene. If you haven't watched a movie, don't watch the entire movie. Just go to the mirror scene.
Risky Google search.
All right, so I
Very
got.
risky. I just pulled it up.
Yeah, hold it.
So as we're gonna open the
Nice
show
math.
here, as we're gonna open up the show here, we got to get in character.
You gotta go like this.
Why? Oh yeah.
Like
I know
Evan.
what you're doing. Um, earlier this week, I don't mean to make fun of it. It's just yeah, that's
No,
what I do.
you did.
Earlier this week, we passed really what was the 1 year mark of when COVID kind of turned the world upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Actually, Chris's son's birthday is the 1 year anniversary
Kind of.
of
His birthday
when
party.
no, isn't he born on? Do you want me to say when his birthday is?
Yeah, March 4th. Well, what the fuck's that
All
gonna
right.
do?
I don't know. Maybe people can hack his social security
Ooh,
number. They
he's
know his
4.
I'm in.
Yeah, but it
No.
was like his right
March
after
4th
his
was the
birthday
first
party.
confirmed
Really?
case in New Jersey. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, March 4th was the first confirmed case in the state that we live in, New Jersey, and then about a week later is when everything kind of hit the fan. I think it was March 11th is when the NBA shut down, and I believe President Trump was on TV that night, right? That was the same night he gave the speech, and then it
I
was
believe so.
kind of what? It's
Yeah.
been a weird it's been a really weird year, and I figured we could just take a few minutes and kind of reflect on it before we get into all the baseball stuff. Just so if you want to skip ahead about 10 minutes, that's fine. You know, we're going to talk about the injury to Zach Britton, Diet Rich, and Jay Bruce actually saw some time at first base this week. We'll read some comments from the fans on who they think will take up bench spots, and then we're going to do our fantasy baseball movie draft at the end of the show. So that's what you have to look forward to. But like we said, sometimes we talk real world, and sometimes we don't. And since this is kind of something that affected everybody, we should just take 5 or 10 minutes, just kind of reflect on it. If you are listening to this and you lost a loved one due to COVID, we do extend our deepest condolences to you. Please don't think that we're making light of the situation with the mask wearing. It was just a funny thing that we were doing. You always have, I feel like I always have to say that now, or else people get offended, which kind of sucks, but
Yeah, that's just the world we live in. I actually remember the night. I don't bet much, but when I start to bet, like on sports, I usually will win a couple bets early on, so then I go on like this tangent of thinking I'm gonna keep winning. And I remember I was on such a hot streak, and I had a 3-leg parlay the night the NBA shut down. And who was the late game? Was it the Clippers?
It was Clippers Jazz or something
or
like
was it
that.
the
And
Kings? Because
I
I
had,
mean,
yeah,
I
it
think
was the
Ruka
Kings.
was
It was the
doing it.
Kings. It was the Kings. And I just needed that last leg to hit, and I would have won a lot of money. And I'm like, how is a NBA game delayed? It was delayed for a couple hours. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Was there? I thought maybe like the lights went out, maybe bad thunderstorm, and that's kind of when shit got real. Like when that happened, shit got real. And that's when it was like, wow, businesses are going to start shutting down right now. Like if sports are shutting down, businesses are going to start shutting down. And that was it. That was
Yeah,
that was like the marker.
it's been a long journey, and it's I'm not kind of I am glad that we're kind of on the other side of this now. The Yankees and Mets, I heard, are hoping that they can get up to 30% capacity for their opening days, and who knows
Yeah.
if it'll stay there. I mean, at this point, really, we should be able to do 30%, but I remember because I was deemed essential from the beginning, right? So,
Which is a fucking blatant lie right off the bat.
right, okay, so I haven't really missed a beat in any of this. So I've been out doing my life really hasn't changed much in that regard. And I just remember that day after being out on the road, and I equated it to like this. You ever go out on like Christmas Day or Thanksgiving Day when
Pick
everybody
up
is
like a
all
gallon of milk.
when everybody is already where they're supposed to be and
Yeah.
the world just feels empty on the roads? That's what it felt like that
I
day. It
equated
was
it to The Walking Dead of like when they're just no one's around them before they encounter the dead people.
so
It was
uh
that eerie feeling.
yeah, and I want to I wanted to reach out to a bunch of different people too, and I never got around to it, but if you're listening to this and you want to DM me at Christian_NYYST, or and you had a kid during this pandemic, especially during the early parts, just like, man, that was like that was something else. Especially if it's your first one.
You
Not
didn't
knowing
even know
one
if
to
you could be in the hospital at the time, remember? Until
right,
Murphy. That was the only good thing Murphy did was make sure that
right.
you could be there.
So that was a really bizarre because you're like it's like down the hallway like people are dying or really sick from this disease that you don't know anything about, because my daughter was born in May, so like really think about how what we were like in May at that time, what we knew, what we didn't know, the fear that was going on. So um we're on the other side of this thing. I like to believe that we are, and and did you raise your hand to say something?
Yeah, when you're done.
No.
Or were you just
So I like
stretching?
like I said, I like to believe that we're on the other side of this thing. We kind luckily Chris got sick, but he got through it okay, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to tell how stupid you really are or what's
I have
from
a
the
little
COVID.
COVID brain still, but it's mostly just the brain I was born with. So it's not too bad. But I just have to say, you keep saying you hope we're on the other side of this thing. We are on the other side of this thing. We're on the far, far other side of this thing. I mean,
The far right side of it.
listen, guys, I know politics get in the way of everything, but just take 2 seconds and stop watching the mainstream media and just do yourself a favor and go on the CDC's website. Go on and read the studies coming out, read the articles from the doctors um at John Hopkins coming out and talking about the vaccine right now. The vaccine is way more effective than they thought. And I'm not saying the 95% of the vaccine being effective. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the transmission of the transmission rate after you've been vaccinated, the chances of you getting the virus. See, at first when these vaccines come out, you got to understand something. They got to play it safe. Not enough people had the vaccine yet to know if they can transmit it, if they can carry it, if they can still get the virus. They have enough data now that is proving, which is why the CDC is coming out and saying if you can be in groups of people with other vaccinated people. Now, of course, it's got to get political, so they got to keep it at small groups of people. But even CNN, and if CNN's coming out and saying this, it's true, because for them to go against a mainstream, authority like the CDC right now, doesn't normally happen. But they even came out and said like the CDC's guidelines are so ridiculous right now because they're contradicting themselves. No, everyone that's getting vaccinated, we are way on the other side of this thing, like way, way on the other side. People are going to continue to get vaccinated, and we should be back to normal pretty soon. And I'd say midway through the season, we should be back to 100% capacity in the stadium. There's no reason why we shouldn't be.
No, they won't. I don't think so. Not this year.
Nah, I think you're wrong, man. too much is coming out, and the cases are dropping too much, and this vaccine is too effective, and too many people are getting it for them to justify us not being able to all go into the stadium.
I'm just
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts though with that. Like, cause my school the school that I work for, they were thinking about reopening to a full school year this year, within the next like 2 months. But there's so many moving parts because then you'd have to hire a bunch of extra staff members. You'd have to clean. You'd have to, you know, take care of all the sanitary issues. So
Yeah,
it would be a lot more than just, okay, the virus looks like we're past it.
yeah,
There's
it's
a whole
true.
nother step to it. So I would love that, but I could see at least 50% capacity by half
right. I
the
think
halfway
if
mark.
we are at 50% capacity at any point during the season, I'll consider that a victory, especially with what's going on with in New York, and they're requiring you to COVID test before you can even go. So
I don't
yeah,
know
I
if you
mean,
guys have been watching the spring training games though, but even having like a small handful of fans there is so much better than last year already.
right.
Just
Yeah,
having a
yeah.
few
And
fans
listen,
there.
Uh-huh.
I'll say
But,
this in more detail when we're off the air, but talk to me before you go to a game. I got you. Okay? Don't worry about anything else. Just talk to me before you plan to go to a game.
Okay, here we go.
Okay?
This
COVID Chris, you
fucking
got
just
the
burning.
hookup.
COVID
Well,
Chrissy has the hookup. That's one of the perks of getting COVID. You get hookups in the COVID
mhm.
world. So I got
Okay.
the hookup for you, all right?
So just to where we were this week last year to where we are now, it's almost a completely different world. It is good to see that some businesses, it might be a little too late for some people, which sucks, but businesses are starting to reopen. There's a lot of restrictions being lifted, and like we said, we don't want to get political here, and we're not gonna. So I mean, if you're required to wear a mask when you go into a store, just wear the fucking thing. I mean, it's been a year. What's the harm? You got to go to ShopRite. It's not going to kill you to wear the goddamn thing for an hour.
I'm setting a
If
cutoff. I'm
mask
telling you right now.
restriction, okay, good, you do that, and then I'll have you removed just for being an asshole.
Setting a cutoff.
Okay.
Setting a cutoff.
Okay. Well, these are private businesses. They can do whatever they want. They don't have to serve you if you don't want to abide by the rules. That's cool.
Mm.
So,
Right.
mm, I just don't see what the big deal is. If they ask you to do it, what's the big deal?
The big deal.
Right?
No,
I don't.
there's no big deal. I've been doing it for over a year.
Right. I don't have a problem with it. Like I don't want to do it, but if that's
But
what they want us to do, it's not like
also don't
they're
be an
saying that
idiot.
you have to wear.
Also don't be an idiot. I mean, also use your brain capacity because that's what we don't do enough of. We rely on other people to use their brains for us. Use your brain. Look into the actual stats if you really care about everything. Look into where the cases are, and you have to set a cutoff date, man. I'm not wearing a mask for another year. I'm telling you right now, I'm
Okay,
not doing it.
that's fine.
If this goes on another 3 months, I have to wear a mask. After 3 months, I'm done.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you that it probably encumbers me way more than it does for you. So if I don't have a problem with it, I don't see why you should have a problem with it. It's just I don't know if you want to be one of these people where it tramples on your freedoms. That's
No, I just
fine.
said I did it for a year, no problem. Didn't open my mouth once. Didn't complain
So
about it
so
once.
if this
I
is
think
how
they
we're going
were
to
important.
continue to step forward and you have to go to ShopRite, what's the big deal? But if they lift the mask restrictions, and this is what your problem is that you always want to go down one road without hearing the full comment.
Mhm.
And if they lift the mask restrictions, and somebody doesn't want to wear one, that's fine. Then you shouldn't be one of these people to mask shame people. Just
No,
like
and if you want to wear one, you absolutely should, and it goes both ways.
just like when we saw a couple weeks ago when they at the Yankee game in Tampa, and somebody that works for ESPN was mask shaming people for not wearing a mask when they're outside and socially distant. That's not cool either.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. And then she won some like award for something. So
For being a snitch.
yeah, snitch of the year.
I mean, like that was like don't be one of those people either. If you don't have to, you just got to do what you got to do. We're heading in the right direction. I mean, there's really what sucks is that a lot of it's out of our control. But right now, it seems that things are under control. We just got to continue to be smart about everything. Because I know Chris is going to say, well, only 0.900000 people percent die. It's not even about that. I'm sure if you could have avoided getting sick and being as miserable as you were, that wasn't a fun experience for you.
Disagree. I'm glad I
That was
got it.
fun.
I think
No,
I think more people our age should have gotten it. I think we should have lived our lives.
right.
I won't go down this fucking hole, but you just brought it up. I I got it. I fought it, and I think if more people were living their lives and getting it like our
Mhm,
age, and the
mhm.
people high at risk were quarantined and being extremely cautious, and then waiting for that vaccine, we could have been a little more normal of this past year. But overall, I think we all did a good job. I really do.
Well, you know what? Even if it is the flu, do you go out of your way to try to get the flu, or you try to avoid getting sick?
No, no, I'm not.
Well,
I'm
that's the
not.
that's the
I'm not
point, though.
saying that. I'm
So
just saying I don't. I don't sit here like I wish I
it's not.
didn't get it.
No, it's not like I'm not even talking about the mortality rate of it. It's just if you can, if it's something going around, like even when before COVID and the flu was going around, would you go hang out with people that had the flu? No,
No,
because you don't want to get sick.
but no one was hanging. No one was like, "Oh, dude, you have COVID, coming over, hanging out." No
Yeah, they
one
were.
did that. Literally,
Yes,
no one.
go look it up. Colleges were throwing COVID parties.
Oh, when they had COVID.
Yes,
Oh, these are the people that'll be running the country in a few years.
see,
Yeah, that's great. That's
right.
fucking great.
You never heard, you didn't hear this story that college football teams were having COVID parties so
No,
they could spread COVID through the team before the season started?
no, I
That's
mean, look.
not false. That's true.
No, no, no. I didn't say it was
That's
false.
the
I said it's fucking
SEC, right?
stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
look,
believe it
that's
was.
dumb. I mean, that's dumb. Like you were saying, you don't go out of your way. You don't go out of your way to be with people who have it. But like, I get the theory behind it, but at the same time, that's stupid because
But there's a lot.
there's a
But even
risk to anyone. I'm
you would
not saying
have
there
to
isn't.
be you would have to admit there's still a lot of unpredictability about it. Is that it affects everybody differently?
Sure, but there's really not
Yeah.
unpredictability anymore about like the amount of people getting it and
Yeah,
how
but you
well
don't.
the
You might not even
vaccine's
know. You
working.
might not even know that you have an underlying condition.
I first of all, I do. I mean, I definitely do. Anyone who's overweight, and if you go on BM, you could be like, you could think you're the skinniest person in the world. You go to check your BMI, and it says you're obese. It doesn't matter,
It doesn't.
right?
You're
So
right.
immediately,
That's
I
funny,
yes,
though.
I am at risk, of course. But even being at risk at that point, I still beat it.
Right, but you don't know that you could be the one in the million. So
Sure.
why would you take the chance?
Right?
Right.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
all I'm saying.
Exactly. I agree with you. Can we talk Yankees now, please?
Yeah, because this is actually
No,
ties right.
in all seriousness, though, let me just say, if you did lose anyone, and we lost, I mean, I lost people. I knew people that died from it. I don't know the exact cause of death, but I know if they didn't get COVID, it would probably wouldn't have, ignited whatever their health issue was to the point of death. But deepest condolences to anyone, of course, who lost anyone.
Yeah, I found out
Or
I had a family member just found out that she died from it, but she was 90, so I mean not that
not rest in peace. It was a
That was a
tragedy that she
Francesa
died.
tweet
It
there.
was a tragedy that she died, but
However,
she
she
was
was
90 and her
90.
life was over anyway. Rest in peace.
my father hadn't talked to her in like fucking 25 years, so I mean I just found out about it today, so I mean
Oh, sorry.
We send our condolences to you.
it's okay. It's so you don't have to.
You don't even know her name, but we're
Oh, no.
sorry.
I do know her name. We don't have to go down this road either.
Oh, Jesus.
So, but best wishes to everybody that's been afflicted by this, and like we said, let's just continue to be smart. Let's get through it. Let's get over it, and let's get our asses back into, let's get our asses back in the Yankee Stadium. Let's hope that number bumps up from 10%. Yankees and Mets are hoping for 30%. Let's hope it's at 50. If it's at 50, man, I know it's going to still suck, but would you rather have 20,000 people in the stadium or 5,000 people in the
We
stadium?
need to focus over the next like handful of months to go from COVID to, are the Yankees really going to win a World Series this year? Like that needs to be the main focus, and that's the goal.
Yeah, like and teams just got to continue to be smart about it. Like Jose Ramirez of the Indians, not smart about it. They look. I get it, man. These guys are making, and women in professional sports are making a lot of sacrifices for us, for our entertainment. and also because they're making tons of money. But all you have to look at it like this: these leagues are putting in these protocols in place to keep everybody healthy. So whether or not it might be something where one guy has the sniffles from it, or like fucking Eduardo Rodriguez, who but the guy couldn't walk after he had COVID. There's varying degrees of what happened to these guys. So, you know, if you're gonna play and the team's gonna put these and the leagues are gonna put the protocols in place, you just got to follow them, and you
Well,
got to
I'll say
wonder what's
this.
going.
You got to say this too as a fan. Like, we appreciate you guys going out there during all this and still entertaining us. Yeah, of course you're getting fucking paid millions, so you better. But thanks for entertaining us. Thanks for, sticking your neck out there and doing it. But at the same time, it's like, if you're gonna be courageous like that, or claim to be, or whatnot, also follow protocol, because they're there so that we can continue to be like, if you're there to because you truly care about entertaining baseball fans, then you're not doing stupid shit, because doing stupid shit leads to us not being entertained anymore. How many games got canceled last year because guys had to go to bars or strip clubs or whatever throughout all these sports leagues, and then it caused games to shut down and spreads to happen in clubhouses.
You got to wonder what's going on in Cleveland, why they seem to have a problem with with
I think
this.
they're mad. I think
What
they're
even
still. I
happened?
think they're
What happened over
resentful.
there?
I don't know. I remember Mike Clevenger and the other guy, and then
Right.
Clevenger ended up getting traded, right?
Yeah.
And then something happened with Ramirez. I just didn't read the whole story. Just that he didn't follow protocols and he had to be quarantined from away from the team.
Okay. I didn't know he's quarantining.
Because we've heard enough stories about, well, you take people at their word if you want to, of people that have said, I follow everything, I don't go anywhere, I wear my mask, and I still got it. So why, if you're a professional athlete and you're breaking protocols, obviously, you just don't care. And I'm glad that as a fan of the Yankees, we haven't heard of anybody doing that yet. That would really, honestly, that would upset me. That for a team that has World Series aspirations, that these guys are taking it seriously, not like, all right, yeah, we saw. This is another thing, and people were all pissy when Garrett Cole and Tanaka took a maskless picture at an indoor restaurant, but that was after the season was over. Not to say like, oh, season's over, who cares if these guys get COVID and die, whatever. But
Right. It was the off
but
season.
it was the off season, so now you can do whatever you want. Now you have X amount of months to, you know, get your shit together and or do whatever you want. You're not in the thick of this thing now. So, but hey, a Yankee that did get COVID was Zach Britton, and now Zach Britton won't be starting the season on time, and I don't think it has anything to do with COVID, but it was just a tie-in there that he had it. He said that because of it, it caused him to be behind in his off-season throwing program. And earlier in the week, we found out that Zach Britton, excuse me, had some soreness in the elbow, and because it's all rise all the time, positivity only this year, we were not thinking Tommy John surgery. It's not Tommy John surgery. It's a simple, basic routine cleanup from bone chips. So I know everybody that wants to be like, oh, the Yankees injured, but hey, you know what? For a guy that's been in the league as long as Zach Britton has, and you know,
What kind of
that's
turnaround
just
time we looking at?
something that happens, right? I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
injury prone Yankees again. It's just any that could have happened to anybody at any time. It's a cleanup. Like Gio Urshela had to get bone chips taken out of his elbow. So, um,
What kind of
you know,
turnaround time?
I'm thinking we'll see him around June 1st, somewhere in there. He's
That's
going
not
to be
terrible.
shut. I mean, he's going to be shut down for about 6 weeks, and then he's going to have to ramp it up. So, I mean, he's probably going to miss the first 2 months of the season. And like we said, we're going to do this all rise all the time, positivity only, and we're going to say, hey, 2 months, even if it's 3 months. Think about it like this, right? If the Yankees are out of it by the time Zach Britton returns to this team, don't you think there's a lot bigger problems going on than the fact that
Yeah.
Zach Britton wasn't with the team?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, think of it this way: if we want to stay all rise all the time here, think of it this way: Zach Britton missing a couple months shouldn't at least take the Yankees out of contention of still being a dominant team, making the playoffs. So if anything, we're giving Zach Britton a little rest here, starting a little late, so that his arm has a little more gas in the tank come October. Fuck it. They're still going to win games without him. I mean, the first couple months of the season are, of course, they're great. We're excited to have baseball back. We're excited to be watching our team again. But like the first couple months of the season, you're still gelling at that point. Like the team's still waiting to click at that point. So to me, I'm glad it happened now if it was ever going to happen.
And the other injury, which is it even anything to concern ourselves about, is that Robinson Chirinos got hit in the hand. Imaging showed that there's a fracture in the hand or the wrist. I forget. I haven't heard. And then they were going to go for further evaluation. It doesn't sound like he's probably lost or whatever now. But not to sound crass about it, but who cares? Like that's not a big deal that Robinson Chirinos is hurt.
Isn't
I'm
he the backup to Kyle Gashioka though?
No, I thought he was a
Starting catcher
starter.
Kyle Gashioka.
Right. Okay.
Oh, he's the starter. Okay. Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, so
I like Chirinos, but
dude, when you're reading headlines this week and it's like injuries strike the Yankees again, here we go again, and it's just like, dude, Robinson Chirinos is a non-roster invitee. You're gonna take him breaking his hand on or breaking his wrist on a hit by pitch as some big deal, and that Zach Britton needed to have bone chips removed from his elbow, and really what the COVID did to him is that he didn't find out that he had this issue until a little later on because he wasn't throwing. I mean, if he didn't get COVID, maybe we could have found this a few weeks earlier, and then he could have
yeah.
been back a few weeks
And one
earlier.
thing, what's the dude's name who's in charge of all the
Eric Cressy.
Cressy? Can't blame Cressy here on these two things. You have Chirinos, who that's a freak injury, just like Judge a couple years ago, and like you said, with Britton, this is a prior injury coming into things, so still can stay positive about Cressy too, unless you've been talking to too many minor leaguers, and might not be.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we can we'll leave that alone.
Some inside jokes here. Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna have, if this kind of shit's gonna happen, let it happen now. Let it happen to the Chirinoses of the team. You know, Zach Britton's a big blow, but like I said, for a couple months, whatever. Let's just take a deep breath, stay positive. This team's gonna stay healthy this year. I'm telling you, man, all around. It's not just like a gimmick here. I do feel positive about this team. I think they're gonna have a great year. I think they're gonna stay healthy.
Right. Um, the bullpen is going to be a little hampered right now, but I mean, there's a guy, Lucas Lucky, who's having a tremendous spring. I mean, you stick him on the roster for a couple weeks, see how he does, see if he can fill some innings. Again, I got into not a full blown argument, but somebody tweeted at me like, "Oh, I can't believe Luis Cessa is still on this team," and it's just like, I don't understand why Luis Cessa, and we were guilty of it at times, but I think I kind of settled down with Luis Cessa. I don't understand why he's such a whipping boy for the fans. Luis Cessa is what Luis Cessa is, and I think he fills his role pretty well. The problem is, and we talk, how many times do we talk about this? When guys get pushed past what they're supposed to be, is
Yes.
when we have a problem with it. Like when
Right.
CC Sabathia had to be a second or third
Yeah.
starter, when Dick Bag up in Minnesota had to be a second or third starter,
Mhm.
if Guardy has to be a starting outfielder this year, then these guys are not in their roles. So like Luis Cessa, if the Yankees leave him alone in his role, I think he fills his role well. And I don't and you're not going to have 8 elite level relievers in your bullpen. You're just not gonna. Somebody's going to have to be a guy that goes in there and has to hold the game at 8-5 when you're losing, or if you're up 10-2 to not have to go to your big arms. Somebody has to do that. And I think Luis Cessa does it pretty well.
Here's the thing with Luis Cessa. He actually, first of all, get it out of your mind that Luis Cessa is going to be anything more than just an average guy that can come in, have good days, have bad days, and he is what he is. Luis Sessa is what he is. He's nothing more and really nothing less, right? Which goes to your point of keep him in his role. But here's the thing with Luis Sessa. He actually had a very good year last year. If you go back and really look at some of the bigger outings that he came in, he did his job. And the one thing I'll say about the Yankees that they've really been consistent with is that you can be an okay player. You don't have to be a superstar, but if you're reliable, they're going to keep you around for a pretty long time. And Luis Sessa has been a guy that they've been able to call on every single year. And they like that about him. They like that they know Luis Sessa can be ready to go at any moment. And he's not going anywhere. And you know what? The Yankees need a Luis Sessa this year. They need him. They need him to really perform his role well this year.
Right. So, hopefully Britton's back sometime in June. And if you need, because you're going to have, look at this, you're going to have Chapman, Green, O'Day, Wilson. That's going to be the top of the bullpen, right? If you need somebody to step up, maybe Nick Nelson gets hot. Maybe Sessa gets hot. Loizaca's still out there. You hopefully while Britton's out, somebody steps up, gets hot for a couple weeks, and they take, they can fill some big innings. But I think really it is a blow, but you can get by for a few weeks with O'Day, Wilson, and Green behind Chapman. I don't see why you can't. And again, we've I think the Yankees are gonna make Herman the fifth starter. I don't want them to because, again, I think he really is gonna be suited really well for the bullpen. But with Britton being out, that would just add to where we need Herman the most. But to me, it seems like he's going to be in the rotation. It's probably going to be Cole, Kluber, Tyone, Montgomery, and Herman to start the season. So that looks like to me that Davy Garcia is going to be in Scranton to start the year, which sucks. But that's just the way it is at this point, I guess.
You mentioned Loizaga. Did him and A-Rod get into like an argument or something this past week? Because I read a headline and I was scrolling quick and I just saw J-Lo and A-Rod.
No, we don't call him that.
Oh, okay. Thought that was like a nationwide thing.
No one calls him that. No, but apparently they're not broken up. They put out a statement today that said that the reports that they broke up are inaccurate.
Ooh, saving face.
And apparently he didn't bang that chick on that TV show that everybody
Who was
said
reporting?
that he did.
Who was reporting it? Bob Nightingale?
I don't know. Bob Nightingale's a People, right? I heard People reported it.
I don't know. Who's
Bob
the guy who
kiss of
kept
death.
saying like a player, like he said Brantley went to the Blue Jays.
Right, yeah, he's screwed.
I don't know if it was him.
Yeah, a lot of people got a lot of things wrong this offseason.
Yeah, really.
But they
bad,
really
bad
trolled.
source
People
season.
really trolled Nightingale hard after the Bauer thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Nightingale's
with
the
them.
kiss of death. If Nightingale says someone's coming to your team, they're not coming. They're not a coming.
So, we're just hoping that we're not hoping. We know Zach Britton's going to be back in due time, and he's going to be Zach Britton because it's like we said, all rise all the time. That's what we're doing this year. And speaking of all rise, I know it's not not Judge, but Jesus Christ, did you see that home run Stan hit the other night?
Oh my
my
God.
God.
Dude.
I don't get Woody's from preseason home runs, but Jesus Christ,
I did.
that was that was something else, man.
I'll say this, like, just like with Gary Sanchez, you like to. It's not that you're getting like excited, like because they're winning after a home run. You're getting
Right.
excited because you're like, this is great to see right now. Because if again, baseball is. I wish there was some type of study guys can do, of like how much baseball is just confidence and your mindset at the time. Because like,
Well,
if
didn't Yogi Berra do a study on that?
did he? Did he?
90% of the game is half
Yeah,
mental,
like
I think.
yeah, he had a yogi.
Yeah, that was the theory. But like to see these guys do this now is exciting because you hope they just carry that into the season. And one thing though, not to be negative or to say don't be positive about it, just remember that the Yankees tend to do this sometimes, and then when they come back up north with the colder weather, their bats do get a little cold. They take a little time before they gel. but it's still better than the alternative of them all just shitting the bed right now. I mean, it's still good to see.
I know I've said this numerous times, not only on this show but on Twitter as well, that I don't even care if I see Giancarlo Stanton until like mid-September, if he's just going to come out and rake like he did in October this year. But then I see that home run, and I'm just saying to myself, we can get 135 games from this guy, a
No.
full healthy season.
Well, we
No, I
kind
think
of
Glaber
did.
Glaber went deep right after him. I think it was
Yeah,
back
he
to back.
did. Yeah,
We kind of did a couple years ago, but he wasn't
He-
100% healthy, but he
no.
did carry this fucking team, dude. Like, no
He
one
had a
wants to
nice
admit it.
stretch.
No one
That
wants to
grand
admit
slam
it.
was nice.
Maybe in 5 years from now, after they win a World Series or two, people will be okay with going back to Stanton's first year here and really taking a look at what he did when everyone was injured on this team.
Yeah,
And you
but
got to give
they-
Andujar credit too. I mean, he did too.
I mean, that at bat against Kimbrel and when they were trying to rally in Game 4 was absolutely brutal.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
and I'm not talking postseason. I'm
no,
talking
but
about
that's
the
what people
regular
are going.
season.
Yeah, but that's what people are going to remember about that
And they
year.
should. And they should. I'm just saying, give him a little credit of his one full season he's had here.
Right, he
He
did. He did
he-
carry the team
yeah.
for a while, and then he got hurt himself, and then he didn't. But again with Stan, it's like, and then what happened? Like, did he just say like, "Oh, hey guys, I played through it last year, so I'm going to take these next 2 years off"?
No, I mean, some of them have been freak injuries. I think a lot of it had to do with his workouts and the amount of muscle this dude has. Like when you have injuries where he was getting injured and then maybe not having the proper workout, you know, training, whatever you want to call it, to come back, because we saw so many guys come back when they thought they were good and then get hurt again. A guy like Stanton's like 10 times more at risk for getting re-injured because of his body type. So like maybe with Cressy and Stanton's new workout this year, maybe he stays healthy. Maybe if he does go down, it's not as long and he recovers quicker. And when he comes back, he's actually healthy again. So that's what you got to hope for with Stanton.
Right. So that was Wednesday night, I believe. We're recording. It's about 8 o'clock on Saturday night. Earlier today, the Yankees beat the Pirates. DJ LeMahieu hit a home run in that game, but I think the big story from that game is Corey Kluber pitched 4 innings. They gave up a couple runs, but it was nice to see the Yankees left him out there a little bit to get his pitch count elevated, work out of some jams. So for a guy that hasn't pitched in a couple years to get some work in, that was a good day at the office for Corey Kluber. So
And remember, for veterans like Kluber, like Garrett Cole, the offseason, I mean, spring training, at least in the beginning, is nothing more than just working out your mechanics, making sure your stuff is there, and getting ready to amp up for the regular season.
I don't
I
know
didn't
if it was
realize this. Go ahead, Roddy.
if it was the second or the third inning though, but he was kind of starting to he was throwing a lot of pitches and getting into a bit of a jam, but then
It was the third inning.
think
He
it was-
started to struggle.
it was
a
the
little
third
bit, yeah.
inning. He had 1 out, runners on, but then he threw that sinker and he got a ground ball. That you're going to see that a lot this year from Kluber. When he's on, he's getting ground outs.
Yeah,
So there's a
and-
few. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Ground out, double play
the
down the inning.
biggest thing for pitchers isn't so much the stuff getting there; it's the stamina. I mean, it takes a while. So for this guy to not have pitched, don't look at this outing and he gave up a few runs and go crazy. This guy knows what he's fucking doing. He's been doing it for a long time and he's been doing it at a very high level. Just be happy that he got his work in and he feels good.
So I didn't realize this, but there's a couple Yankee connections on the Pirates outside of the trade for Jameson Tyone this year. Some guy that I don't know if you heard of him or not. It was kind of a big deal about in 1998. He took a picture with Derek Jeter at Yankee Stadium. He may or may not have won a Little League World Series.
Something about Tom's Rivers popping up. in
Yeah,
my
Tom's
head.
Rivers. It sounds familiar. He's on that. He's on the Pirates trying to make that squad. Also, Charlie Hayes' kid is
Mm.
on the Pirates.
I knew that.
I
And
didn't see that. That's cool.
We're friends
the,
on
uh,
Facebook.
The Pirates have, I forget his last name, but they have a
O'Neal
left-handed
Cruz.
right, O'Neal Cruz. Do you know why he's
Yeah.
named O'Neal Cruz?
Mm-hmm.
Paul O'Neill.
He's named after Paul O'Neill. Yes, he's
Paul
a tall.
O'Neill's his
6
Paul,
foot
Paul O'Neill's his
8 or
estranged
6'7".
father.
I think he's 6'8". He's a 6'8"
He's a
shortstop.
tall, skinny, left-handed batter.
Does he know who his father
Named-
is? Because
Yes, His
Baby
name
Paul
is
and his mom.
Mr. Cruz.
Oh, Mr. Cruz.
So, it's starting to pay attention to the lineups in spring training a little bit this past week. Today's lineup is what I would classify maybe as the opening day lineup outside of Guardy, who played left field, and Frazier was on the bench today. But, not that, again, I'm going to take Aaron Boone at his word that Clint Frazier's the starting left fielder. But part of you's like, until I see it happen.
100%.
So this was really if you don't want to call it the A+ lineup, this was the A lineup today. A couple interesting things after we talked about it last week. Who's going to back up at first base? Derek Dietrich and Jay Bruce both had a first baseman's glove and started games at first base during the week. So the Yankees are at least, I don't know if anybody on the Yankees listens to the pod, but after we brought it up, it was interesting that both guys got a turn at first base during the week. Mike Ford's got to go. I don't care.
How about Gio at shortstop? He play shortstop yet?
No, I don't believe that one actually happened, Ryan.
Oh, they didn't put him at shortstop yet.
Notice how many? Did you notice how many tweets went out this past week that was like, "Look, guys, Wade sucks at the plate, but the Yankees need him as a middle infielder, so he's definitely going to make this team over anyone over Diet Rich."
Right,
I was like, that sounds verbatim.
It's just common sense.
These guys don't even know what his name is. They call him Diet Rich.
I don't think we're gonna.
Bruce didn't look too good though.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
he had a tough
I didn't
play
see the
on
game,
the one.
But I just found
Not
it interesting
bad.
that the Yankees
Serviceable.
had. Look, man, I guess that's all you're really hoping for is to not butcher a game at first base to where the Yankees actually lose it. You're really kind of maybe only hoping for 6 or 7 innings out of a guy like that if you're going to give him a start.
Yeah.
So, again, to me, and we're going to read some what the fans had to say in a moment here, because we did a long segment on it last week, not to go too deep into it. To me, it's almost like you got 4 spots and 3 are spoken for. Wade, Guardy, and Higashioka. And it's going to be a combination of Ford. It's going to be one of the 3 guys, Ford, Bruce, or Dietrich is going to be that 4th guy.
Can
I don't see how Mike talk. What?
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Because I think this is a legitimate question. Who do you think is more deadly off the bench offensively in a big spot? Bruce or Diet Rich?
Probably I would want Jay Bruce up in that spot.
So for me, like,
I wouldn't know.
If that's the answer the Yankees have, right? Obviously, our answer doesn't matter. If that's the answer the Yankees have, you're not keeping Jay Bruce here as a backup first baseman in a sense of you're starting this guy at first base when Voit needs a day off. To me, at least, that's not how I see it. I see it as if Voit needs a full day off, you move DJ there because you're most comfortable with that. You're putting Wade in, who you're very comfortable with in the middle infield. And you're more utilizing Jay Bruce as a guy who's coming in off the bench in big spots, or a guy who is coming in if, God forbid, Voit gets injured or something. But Bruce is more there to me because you have a guy like DJ who can fill that spot and is probably more competent than either one of the 2 at first base. To me, Jay Bruce is going to be there offensively to be the guy you're bringing in a big spot.
But we talked about this. I don't like having one of my starters be the backup for another position. I want a guy on the bench that can come in.
Yeah, but Christian, you have to understand something. And Christian's frozen. I don't know if he's going to come back to us. Okay, he's back.
He's good.
You have to understand something, though. Anyone can play first base. So it doesn't matter. It's like a carousel.
Right. Yeah, I was about to say that, dude.
Like,
we're talking about the first
pretty
base
much
position.
everyone out there in the field, when they go over the defensive alignment of everyone, it should say like Clint Frazier in left field / first. Like, what are their positions? Left field / first base. Gleyber Torres.
Did you know?
Shortstop
I don't know.
slash
I know you
first
don't play.
base.
I don't know you. You probably don't play video games anymore. I really don't. But
I
I'm
don't.
probably gonna pick up the show this year and not
I
play
play
it
the
like I
show.
did for the last couple years. But I heard a new feature to make the game more realistic is that everybody's backup position is first base. Like
Perfect.
it'll like it says Aaron Judge right field first base. It
First
says
base.
Garrett Cole
Exactly.
starting pitcher first
First
base.
base. Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's just an arbitrary position where someone just has to have two eyes, a couple arms. You could have one leg because Voight only played on 1 foot last year.
No. You need two legs, but you can only you
Ow.
can you can
And you need
survive
to
with
have
one.
a semi-functional brain, and somewhat coherence to just
But-
stand there and really just catch a ball once in a while.
Chris, though, wait, because with your theory, right, you're saying that Jay Bruce is going to be, if he does make this team, he would be used as an offensive weapon off the bench, and you would say that LeMahieu would slot over to first base, and then Wade would be your defensive fill-in when LeMahieu has a day off. But then don't you see that scenario playing out where Tyler Wade is playing way too many games this year because he's not only going to be LeMahieu's backup, he's also Gleyber Torres' backup. So
I
what do you
think-
do? What do you do when Gleyber Torres wants a day off or
I
needs a
think
day
you're
off? So then
gonna
you're playing
see-
Tyler Wade twice the amount if that's the way
I
that they're
think
playing
for
this
the
thing.
first half of the season, though, Rye, you're going to see that with a lot of guys. You're going to see a lot of guys get a lot of time off, which is why we were saying a couple weeks ago, Guardy's going to get a lot of games in this year. Even if he never becomes a starting outfielder, he's going to still play
Right.
close to 100 games because they're going to be very cautious with these guys. They haven't played a 162 game season now in a couple years, and they're already cautious with their players. You're gonna see Tyler Wade get a lot more playing time than he probably should over the first few months of the season anyway. I'm just saying you're not keeping a backup first baseman on your bench just because he's a better defensive first baseman than the other one. And look, don't get me wrong. How do you say it for real? Dietrich?
Right. No, that's
Dietrich?
Dietrich. Derek Dietrich.
All right, Dietrich. Don't get me wrong, if he's a competent hitter, right? Which he's a pretty
You're
good
absolutely
hitter,
right.
and he's an elite defensive first baseman, then
Which he's
you
not.
know what? Then at that point you're saying, you know what, he brings me more value than at that point. But
Right.
because you're up in the air with both of them, then at that point you're left with nothing more than to say, okay, then offensively is where I'm keeping them. Who's more valuable offensively, and then I'll piece it together from there. And it becomes Jay
I don't-
Bruce,
I agree
in
with
my
that.
opinion.
I don't know if you mentioned this because when you talk for more than like 30 seconds, I zone out. At first base, I know you don't, but at first base, I can live with somebody not being elite defensively as my backup. So that's why like
Right.
you're entertaining the idea of Bruce or Dietrich as your backup.
Exactly.
But at shortstop, my backup's got to be defensive minded.
Of course.
That's why Tyler Wade's the backup. Tyler
Of course,
Wade's on the bench.
because a backup for a shortstop is not an offensive backup. Just like the position itself is not an offensive position. You have a backup shortstop
now
or
it
middle
is.
infielder.
Yeah,
You can't
because
I
you
think
need
now
a
it's
guy
hitting two-
changed.
You can't be hitting 210 as a shortstop anymore.
It
Those
was
times have
that way
changed.
for a long
No,
time.
no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that you have a backup shortstop or second baseman, a guy who plays up the middle because they're elite defensively, not because, oh my God, he's a great fucking hitter. Because guess what? If he was a great fucking hitter, that he was that good, put him at first base. Let him start at first base. Fuck it.
All right,
Right?
so Gleyber Torres is the first baseman now.
No, what I'm saying, yeah,
Because
hey,
we got to find a way to get Miguel Andujar on the team so we can slide Gio over to. Now we're playing video games. Now we can slide Gio over to short. Miguel Andujar can play third base.
perfect.
Nobody really likes Luke Voigt anyway, despite the guy really taking leadership and leading his team last year. So we can get rid of him or make him a bench player.
No, you know
right?
what we should do with him? I have a great idea. Let's take Luke Voigt and create a new position. He'll position right behind Gary Sanchez for any pass ball that Gary Sanchez has. Luke Voigt stands there without a glove and just takes one right off the chest.
That's actually
Now-
a good idea.
you know?
Can you start
it
in
like,
foul territory?
What's that movie? Not Billy Madison. What's the other movie he did? The golf movie.
Happy Gilmore?
Happy Gilmore when he goes into batting cages and he just
Yes,
takes them off.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all Luke Voigt has to do to prepare for the season.
Yeah, we need a backup catcher back there.
We need a backstop catcher.
Yeah. That's actually a good idea.
behind Sanchez.
I think you're onto something.
And then everyone will be happy, right? Voit will be taking shots to the fucking face with no helmet, and Gary Sanchez, they can complain that he has too many pass balls.
He's having a kid anyway. Luke Voigt, so he'll have to be away from the
Top
team for.
priority.
He'll have to be away from the team for a week, so might as well count him out now.
Yeah. Selfish. Like knock your wife up when you can have the baby in the off season. Like it's not that hard.
It is.
That's what, no pun
it was.
intended.
Right. Speaking from somebody that just snaps his fingers and a new baby's on the way.
Apparently. Not right now. Nope. No one look at me. Ryan looked up like, is he having another kid? No.
We got Dunkle Ryan over there.
Drunkle Ryan.
Are you drunk on the pod again?
No, I'm not drunk.
No one knows. We all have been left in the dark here, but Ryan actually has a drinking problem now. He's just
Yeah,
constantly.
guys.
He's constantly.
Yeah, I'm
drinking.
actually doing this pod from rehab.
I noticed that. I knew that something looked different about your room today.
Crappy Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so like we were saying, like I found it a little interesting that Dietrich and Bruce got a turn at first base this week. So we'll see what happens. Dude, please, just not Mike Ford. Just not Mike Ford.
Let me tell you something, man.
It can't
if
be
Mike
Ford
is even truly part of the equation. Like, that's like, okay. That's like saying what's 3 + 2 + 0, right?
That's still 5.
The zero's meaningless. It's just there to kind of throw you off a little bit. Mike Ford's the 0 right now. He's just there to fucking hang out, eat a couple hot dogs in the dugout, distract people, right? And annoy the team. And really, he's just there as a placeholder to kind of throw you off a little bit and keep you on your toes.
Right. I'm sure he's a cool bro to hang out with, pound some beers, do some tequila shots.
I want to be watching the game with Mike Ford. I don't want to be watching Mike Ford in the game.
That's
really
you should tweet that. I want to be watching the game with Mike Ford. I don't want to watch Mike Ford in the game.
That's a solid tweet.
That's a good tweet right there. But
Tweeted it.
tweeted it. But I forgot what I was gonna say now. I completely forgot. What were we talking about?
Ford.
Mike Ford.
Mike Ford. Exactly.
Right, Mike Ford. I'm sure he's a real cool bro. The guy you want to hang out with, guy that you want to watch the game with.
Yeah,
but
fucking Scranton.
Yeah, right. Okay. So
I'll go to
he's a
Somerset game with
local
him.
guy. He went to Princeton, he had a major league home run, cool story.
So he's
But-
schmott.
So we're done though. We're done, Mike. It's over.
It's over, Mike. Come meet me at the stadium. I'm close to Somerset. That's a gorgeous stadium. My college played there.
How are you
Gorgeous.
close? How are you close to there?
We
I
played.
don't
We
know,
played
it's
there,
kinda
Chris.
down here.
You
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah, it's a gorgeous stadium.
We pitched off that
I
mountain.
love pitching off that mountain, man.
That was a great mountain.
I'm gonna probably camp out there a few times.
I'll tell
this
you
year.
what, guys, we gotta try and plan this if people are allowed at the stadiums. But I'm literally right around the corner from the Blue Claws Stadium, which is Phillies affiliate. If
Mhm.
Didi gets hurt, we gotta plan.
Is that in
his
Pennsylvania?
No, it's right around the corner for me down here in Howell, New Jersey.
Because Somerset's obviously in Jersey, so there's no COVID testing required to go to sporting events in New Jersey. So
Right.
I'm just so against that. Like, why? What's the point?
Well, here's
Because
my
then you
thing.
can't.
I'm
Because
just
then you
gonna come
can't
out and
catch
say it.
COVID. So the game's on Sunday. You got to go get COVID tested on Thursday. You can't catch COVID in 3 days and bring it
I'm
into
just
the
gonna
stadium.
come out and say it. Are they taking your negative test and like calling your doctor and confirming the negative test?
No.
Like, or is this
according
just like,
according to Evan Roberts, because he's going to the Brooklyn Nets game, and it's
Okay.
obviously Brooklyn's in New York.
okay?
There's an app where your ticket is on this app, and then the doctor's office sends, or the
Oh.
testing agency sends the test result to the app. So when they scan your barcode, it shows negative
Oh,
test. Here's your
God.
ticket.
Oh God, because I was just gonna honestly, I have a negative test and a positive because I got tested months before I was positive. I'm just gonna freaking Photoshop that thing. Be like, yep, here's my negative test. Boom. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm
Right,
sorry.
because I'm sure that they were anticipating people like you being out there, be like, "Oh, look,
Exactly.
here's my fake
I
ID."
and let me just say this. If I didn't have COVID already, like if I didn't get it, I would not do that. I would
You feel like you're allowed to because you had COVID.
yeah,
Like if
like
Ryan or I did it, it would be fucked
I
up.
would never do it and like put
Mm.
people at risk. I'm not like that. But because I
It,
had
it would
COVID, I was
Get
definitely
it.
gonna do it for sure. But
non-COVID
I'm a stronger
people.
Stacy. I didn't get COVID.
I
Yeah,
do still have a COVID hookup though for you if you want to
Yeah.
get tested real quick.
I
Okay.
I don't. That's why I probably won't be going to Yankee Stadium this year.
Mm.
It's just too much for a baseball game for me. Like that's just too much, and then I feel like it might get stressful. What if you don't get the test results in time, and you're worried about that? Then you just want to go to the game. You're spending money on a
And
test.
it's
You're
not
spending money on a
cheap.
beer.
It's
Yeah,
not like
exactly. I don't know. I'm not
whatever.
doing it.
Cuomo's got a lot of other
I'll
things to
watch the
worry
games
about
Oh,
from
right
and you
now.
home.
want to know what else is fucked up? I after having COVID, by the way, I was the CDC calls you or the state health department of the CDC, whatever it is, they call you and they kind of just go over your symptoms with you because for data purposes, whatever. And one of the things they tell you before you hang up the phone is if you have to get tested again, like to go back to work or something, if your boss is requiring that, if they're requiring a negative test before you go back, they let you know that after having it, you can test positive for it for up to 3 months, if not more. So, like, fuck, I just had it not too long ago. What if I go to get my test? Because I think my wife got tickets early in April to go to a game. What if I'm still testing positive for COVID, but I don't really have it?
Like, I don't think you can go then.
That's fucking crazy,
You
man.
get a
I'm sorry.
refund? You think you get a refund?
No, you fucking think they're thinking about refunds right now?
Man, this
No
is a
way.
fucked up situation.
No way.
Yeah, I don't know how people are getting tickets right now when they haven't even really figured anything out at this point.
Yeah, no
That's
way.
why that's why I told my cousin. My cousin was showing me pictures of seats that are on sale in secondary market, and I was like, these people are selling tickets that don't even really exist right now.
So
Right.
if everyone's negative in the stadium, right? Everyone just got tested. We're all negative. Can we like hang out and talk and hug and stuff?
No.
No. Okay. Just asking for a friend.
You wouldn't
Okay.
be able to do that even if everyone in the stadium was fully vaccinated, I don't think right now.
Oh, I know.
No touching.
No touchy, no touchy,
Rem-
touchy.
No
remember
touching.
the
No touching.
yeah, from Arrested
Arrested Development.
Development.
Yeah. No touching.
That show fell off the fucking rails, huh? I never even finished it.
Yeah, it really sucked on Netflix.
Yeah, it
They
sucked
kind of
when it went
ruined it.
over, but that show was so fucking good before that.
Oh, the first 3 seasons of that show are so
Should
good.
never. I mean, people got all pissy because it got canceled, and like they only really did 2.5 seasons, but they should have just never touched it. It ruined
Right,
it.
yeah.
Ruined the. All right, so
Touched it.
they touched it. Next week, if you guys want to look ahead here, we're going to give up. We're going to give our lineups. We're going to do what we would personally want, not what we think the
Ooh.
Yankees will do. What we personally would want as the starting lineup. Because if I look at the schedule here, I love we can actually look ahead here. Um, the Yankees have one full week of actually they have 2 more full weeks of spring training, and then on so we'll be back the weekend of the 21st, 20th, 21st there. That's Saturday, Sunday. And then when after we record that, there will be one full week of um spring training left. And then when we come back on the weekend of the 27th, 28th, you know what we will be fucking doing? You know what we will be doing?
Getting
Think
ready for
about how
opening
close
day.
this is. We will be previewing the fucking season
Yeah.
because then on April 1st there will be fucking Major League Baseball.
Hell
The
yeah.
season will be back. It's that we have come, fingers crossed, God willing, that we've in the last year we've seen a lot of crazy shit happen, so we're still going to hope that we're still on track here. But guys, we have 2 more shows left after today before we are actually talking about real
Hell
legitimate
yeah.
baseball games. So
Hell
next
yeah.
week we're going to give up. We're going to give our our lineups, because then the following weekend we're gonna preview everything and break everything down like we usually do.
I like that.
So So before we get into a little bit of fun here, uh, let's see what the fans had to say. We'll just read a couple of things here. We'll give a
Well,
few shout outs.
read the actual tweet. I don't think you.
Chris's mom is a hoe.
Not Ryan's mom. My mom.
Just your mom, not Ryan's mom.
She's a hoe. Faux show.
Ryan gets so
Watch.
Ryan gets so triggered, but I don't know why. It's not his mom.
It's not his mom.
Just Chris's mom.
Just
My
my
older
mom.
brother.
Taught him everything he knows.
All right, so the NYYST podcast Twitter question of the week: assume that Kyle Gashioka and Brett Gardner are givens, and the Yankees are carrying only 4 bench players. Which 2 players are taking the final bench spots?
Gary Sanchez.
All right, so I am so stunned that somebody didn't reply with Gary Sanchez. Stunned.
Well, if they're taking
honestly.
Nagashioka, obviously he's the starter. Gary Sanchez will probably be a bench player. Only because Trinos is hurt.
I'm really surprised no one answered that. But here we'll say here we go. We'll start with R. Scott Tilley. In my opinion, it's Wade is another lock. He has nobody else that can back up at shortstop, and he says Bruce appears to have the lead on the last spot. So I think that's what we all have, right? Wade and Bruce.
Did you eat Chinese food tonight?
No, I had fried chicken.
You have agita. Usually when you have a bad agita like this, you eat Chinese food.
No. Ed Breen says Wade and Talkman.
Talk.
I don't
That's a possibility, though.
I don't see it.
I don't. It's definitely not happening, but it could.
Zach the Bad
know.
Shepherd. We wonder when he's going to have his baby face turn. He's going to be Zach the Good Shepherd.
Mm.
But he's got Jay Bruce and Mike Talkman, which I don't see happening at
That's
all.
definitely not happening. There's too many
'cause-
outfielders on this team, dude.
Yeah, where's your backup infielder?
What are we gonna do on when the guys need a day off? Just play our whole outfield and the. Nah, it's a great
I don't know.
suggestion.
Chris has been non-existent in the group chat all week, but Ryan and I were talking about this. That on MLB The Show, all you have to do is edit position, and then you can play a guy at a different position.
Yeah.
Except for the last time I played, you can't really do that anymore because, like, if you stick, let's say, Guardy at catcher, where like in years past it would be okay, they don't catch the ball anymore. It's a
No,
pass
it'll-
ball
that-
all the
So
time.
it's like
that-
it's like Gary Sanchez is everybody at that point.
Is that what's happening to reality, right? Like to baseball fans right now? Have video
That
games
could
become
be it,
during
dude.
COVID? Have video games become so prominent that people are forgetting to separate video games from the real world?
We're starting to merge into the machines. Now we have
Right.
2 machines on the Yankees.
Right.
Gio's our backup shortstop. Dietrich's gonna maybe play short a little this year. Talkman's on the
because-
team.
And
I'm just
I've
kidding.
been
That's a fair
I've
one.
been guilty of it. Like if there was multiple players at the same position that I wanted to play in a video game, I would edit their position and stick them somewhere. But like
because it's a video game.
right, so like that's what people think you can do with Gio Urshela. Like, oh, we'll edit position and he can be our shortstop this year.
Yeah.
I fucking
it.
pinch ran. I benched Giancarlo Stanton was on first. I took him out. I put Garrett Cole and he was my pinch runner for him. I fucked
Yeah,
around.
fuck it.
So
Maybe that's what
wait,
they
I have
should.
a quick
Maybe
question.
why can't they just have maybe Chad Green could maybe play first base this year too? You could just have he could play multiple positions this year. Get
This
pitchers.
is a serious question, real quick. Who's the Yankees' emergency catcher? I forget
It
who
was Greg Bird, and
It
then
was
it
Greg
was
Bird,
I think
right?
Torreyes.
Oh, speaking of Greg Bird, did you see
Probably
Mr.
Tyler
March
Wade.
had a walk-off home run today?
Oh, that was
Mr.
a walk-off
March.
clip?
That was a walk-off.
Mr. March, he's really living up to that name, man. We should do shirts of Greg Bird's face and it just says Mr. March on it.
Mr. March.
Mr. March.
RB Beltran says he realistically thinks it's going to be Wade and Bruce, but he would pick Bruce and Dietrich. Again, nobody there to play shortstop. Who else?
If
here?
Tyler Wade doesn't make this team, I'll issue
He's
like a
making the
10-minute
team.
apology on air
On
here.
his behalf.
So we got Martin
So many
Michael
people are
Toms,
saying stuff like this.
Chris Northrop, and Nick Barishall say Wade and Bruce. Billy Stiles says Wade and Talkman. We got Travis Chittum saying Bruce and Wade. Jay Rosenblum says Wade and Dietrich. She says Bruce is only breaking camp if Stanton, Judge, or Voigt get injured. because you decided that you were going to not be positivity only and wanted to throw in injuries there. So
lot of
on you.
Talkmans. A lot of Talkmans. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
And then Edison Norford can't give us 2 people. He's got to give us 3. So there you go. Anyway, well, I don't know. Well, that was a dud. I don't
Just so
know.
you guys know, before we get to this next segment, if you copy and paste the list of what we're doing right now to a notepad on your phone, to the notepad, the notes app, you can then highlight the entire list and then click. There should be like a check mark button after they're all highlighted, and then it turns into where you can check them off as we go. You'll see like a blank circle to the left of all the movies we're about to talk about where you can check them off, because we're doing like a draft right now. Just so everyone listening knows what I'm
Can you
explaining.
read that? Can you read what that says there?
It says fuck you.
Yeah, that's what it says. All right, so basically, this idea came to me because I actually took part in one of these things. You can follow him on Twitter at Joe Maniello. I retweeted it early on Friday night. I was part of the '80s movies draft where you 64. You do a bracket of 64. You pick your movies, and then whatever wins. This guy, he doesn't listen to the show, so I could talk shit about him. It's okay. Was like, oh, don't at anybody where you can influence the outcome of the poll. So obviously, I drafted First Blood, which was a whole big argument because the guy didn't know it was a Rambo movie, and then he's arguing with me that he was going to call it Rambo, and I'm like, the movie's not fucking named Rambo, it's First Blood. He's like, well, no one's going to know that it's a Rambo movie. Well, that's their fucking problem then. The movie's been out for 35 fucking years. Like, we're not going to whatever. That was a whole big deal.
Hey,
And
you
then
know it, like you got to watch my movies.
right, and then you guys know, you ever heard of a movie called Tootsie?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know what
Dustin
it's about.
Hoffman.
Right. So he paired
It's the
my
Rain Man sequel.
he bracketed First Blood with Tootsie, and then added a guy with over 200,000 followers that would vote for Tootsie and get people to vote for Tootsie, and now First Blood is losing because he
So
did
you
that.
got Tootsie rolled?
I got Tootsie rolled, yeah.
I put our names on pieces of paper
On a mug?
here, and I put them in a mug, and I'll shake it up and do it right on video if we want to.
All right, I'll pick it out.
Well, Christian's got to explain what we're doing now. You only
All right,
explained
so
it.
what we're doing here is I came up with 18 baseball movies. I looked at a bunch of different lists. Some of these movies are not on the list, but they're ones that I've seen and liked.
As long
so
as
it
you've
came up.
seen and liked them.
Well, who's running the show here?
Oh, Mr. 3000 is on the list. I didn't see it there.
Dude, does anybody care about Pride of the Yankees? I know it's a great movie, but it's from the fucking 1940s.
Hell
Who gives a
yeah,
shit?
bro?
What about it's on there.
Nobody cares. I'm sorry. Nobody cares about a
Alright.
black and white movie unless it's Clerks.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. So I picked 18 movies. We were originally going to do 15, but I realized that if we did 18, we could have an even number of because I'm going to do the first 2 rounds are going to be 3 movies in each bracket, and then the final the championship match will be a 2-movie square off. So we're each going to pick 6 movies, and then I'm going to work on it, and then probably Tuesday we're going to I'll release the bracket, and we'll start the voting on it, and then we'll see what the fans want to vote as the best baseball movie of all time, even though we left off there I will admit there are some glaring omissions, but this is meant to
But it
also
should be
be
that
fun.
way because you gotta have a couple fucking Chris Carter's
Yeah.
on the.
But we're
on your
drafting,
roster.
and we're not drafting based off of our favorite movies. We're drafting what we think others are
Will
going
win.
to.
Do you
Yeah.
guys want to make a
Whoa.
friendly wager
I
on this?
can't
Because
do
no
that.
one answered me.
Yes, I do.
can't- you
Well,
can't
no,
do
I
what?
don't.
Yeah,
no,
$20.
I don't. No, I don't. I actually think that whoever wins should be able to pick who they give like a gift card to one of our main followers at the NYYST podcast account at NYY Sports Talk, because there might be people who listen who hate Christian or hate me or hate Ryan or like one
Nobody
of
hates
us,
Ryan.
Yeah,
whatever.
nobody hates me,
Co-
dude.
So
Come on
like,
back.
yeah,
Come
that's
on
true.
back.
So like
Nah,
they'll
I'm just kidding.
all
There's
they'll
definitely
do is
people
just vote for
fucking-
Ryan's movies to beat us.
Yeah.
No, we're
No,
not
no, we
influencing
can
the vote.
because Twitter and the pod are can be completely separate. So yeah, let's do it. Let's make a friendly wager.
So everybody, so the winner gets. We'll just say the winner gets $20. This way, it's $10 each for each of us, right? That's fair. We'll Venmo the winner. The winner will get Venmo $10 from the two losers. Whoever's movie. It's not even going to be who gets. I know that Joe runs his polls that it's a point system, but I'm not going to be that involved in it. Whoever's movie makes it to the end, whoever's movie, it could be like, let's say Chris picks Bull Durham #1 and it wins, and that could be the only movie of his that wins a round. It doesn't matter. That's the winner. Chris wins.
Okay.
That everybody in agreement with this? And this is going to be one of these bitch out things like Chris, who hasn't colored his fucking hair
I
yet from
really
losing to
don't. I
Ryan.
really don't like that.
What?
That whoever gets first pick is gonna win then.
That's not true.
It's not true.
That's absolutely not true.
You're
That's not true.
overestimating Twitter.
And I've been following enough of these and been involved in enough of these to know that people don't always vote by chalk. Sometimes they will, and that's why, like in that '80s
I don't
movie
know.
bracket thing that I was in, Joe would not allow any Star Wars movies because it would just be too obvious.
Mm.
But there
All right,
are
I don't know, man.
plenty.
The
There's plenty of
the
upsets.
rookie is a lot.
Can I please?
Yeah,
pick
just
out
pick
our
the.
names?
I'm hungry, dude. I
Ready?
gotta eat something. Best dad ever. Yeah, right. Just kidding. You're good. You're a pretty good dad.
Solid.
Of course.
Me? Boom.
Yeah.
You
There's a
watch
staple
me.
in that one.
How do I know you're not when you lifted it up out of the camera? You don't have.
I didn't
some
do that the
jack
first time. You
standing
should
there.
pay attention more. I can't even
This
see
is
who.
Chris too. Christian. All right, I'm last.
All right.
That was reverse order, right? So I go first.
Yeah, and let me just pick the
All
last
right, you don't have to
one.
pick. You don't have to.
No,
There's
I
three
just
of
want to
us.
prove to you that I had your name in there.
I
Got to do
believed
it.
you.
Got to do it.
All right. So do you guys want to? So we're just gonna do 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna go to
Yeah,
the top. I'm not
bang
a
it
really
out.
big fan of the snake drafts. So
All right,
we'll
ready?
go. All right. Let me get my
Wait.
thing
So
here.
what? So it's 1, 2, 3, then back to the top.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of snake drafts unless you guys want to overwrite me on that.
No,
I don't
it's
care.
got to
I'm
be.
gonna win. I'm
It's
gonna
gotta
win.
be
I'm
1,
the-
2,
I
3,
know
3,
everything.
2, 1. It's got to be. That's the
All right,
only
fine.
fair thing,
Yeah.
especially with the
I'm gonna
way you have
fucking
this set
Mr.
up.
3000 will be my one.
Can I read the list of names since I have them in front of me?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So
read
the
movies.
available movies are Bull Durham, A League of Their Own, Field of Dreams, 8 Men Out, Moneyball, The Natural, The Sandlot, Major League, Summer Catch, The Bad News Bears, Rookie of the Year, Mr. 3000, Angels in the Outfield, 61, Major League 2, The Scout, 42, and The Rookie. Okay. Can I go? Can I pick?
1 second. Let me just get the draft board together here.
I know it.
All right. So I got 3, 6, 9. Do I have this right? 3, 6, 9,
I know
12.
what team I'm picking. I mean, I know what movie I'm going with first. I'm telling you right now, I'm not drafting based on what I think's going to win. I can't do that. I'm drafting on what movies I think are legitimate great movies, which aren't many on this list. So tell me when you're ready.
Hold on 1 second.
Like, you had to go with Major League 2 before you put in Pride of the Yankees?
Yeah, because no one cares about a movie from 1940.
You left a couple off here.
So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. You're lucky I put 42 on there.
All right. That movie sucked too.
I
You
know.
ready? Can't you
Yeah,
do
go.
this after? All right. 61.
Yeah.
Definitely drafting that first. Best
Ew.
baseball movie. One of the best movies even made, baseball or not. I'm going 61.
I agree. It is the best baseball movie, but it's not the most popular.
I told you I'm not picking most popular.
All right, so I am going to take Major League. That's my pick at number 2.
Ugh.
What are you guys doing?
All right, go, Rye.
Well, now I'm not sure because you guys didn't take the top 3. You guys have 2 that are not even going to finish in the top 3.
I
So I'll get
disagree.
2.
Major League is
I'll
very
probably
popular,
get the finals.
and I chose.
So I get the next 2 picks, right?
And remember something, our fan
Yeah,
base,
you got the next 2 picks.
especially on Twitter, are all Yankee fans. I picked the Yankee
Oh,
centric.
really? We don't do a Yankee podcast?
So,
I don't fucking know that shit.
all right, who you picking? Ryan?
Just remember,
All right, I got
that the
2
matchups
movies
are going to be
lined up.
set based on
That's a lot.
how they're
I'm a lot.
drafted. So if you want, just remember that. So don't be like, oh, willy nilly, whatever. Pick your stronger movie first.
Okay. I'll go with The Sandlot and Bull Durham.
All right, so you're going Sandlot. Let me write this down here.
Sandlot and Bull Durham for SGR.
Which will be the finals in this bracket.
All right, so let me take these off here. Bull Durham.
Chris, you hate The Sandlot, but that's everyone's favorite baseball movie.
That movie
what-
fucking sucks.
You're so stupid.
Maybe you
That
would like
movie
it now that you have
sucks,
kids,
dude.
though. You haven't watched it
No.
since you had kids.
No. That
All
movie
right,
sucks.
so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take. I hate this movie. I can never get into it, but it's if I'm picking for a win here, I'm going with Field of Dreams.
All right, first of all, fuck you for
You
taking
don't
my
like
pick.
Field of Dreams.
And second of all, double fuck you for just saying that you don't really like that movie. Wow. What an
All right, shut your mouth.
Awful.
and make
this is
your
a great
picks.
idea, though. This is a cool.
awful. All right. I'm kind of
the future
stuck
here with
between
this?
2 here. I love Moneyball.
Lucky for you, you have back-to-back picks.
Oh, yeah,
idiot,
right.
so-
Okay, Moneyball and Summer Catch. Oh, sorry. I forgot it matters how we pick. I'm going Summer Catch and then Moneyball.
All
Summer
right.
Catch and then Moneyball. Can't go wrong
All
with
right,
Freddie
let's
Prinze
see
Jr.
No, I just watched that recently. That's such a good movie.
It
so
really is a
underrated.
good movie. It really is underrated because
What'd you take, Moneyball?
Cape
And
Cod
Moneyball.
League, right?
I want to go to a
Yeah.
Cape game, man.
That is
So
a
All right,
bad.
so I'm up, and I'm gonna take the original Bad News Bears.
Okay. All right, I have to follow
Thanks.
Chris's play. I have to follow Chris's playbook and draft a movie that is my favorite baseball movie, but I'll do that second since I have 2 picks. I'll go with. Wait, what did you just pick, Christian? Bad News
The
Bears.
Bad News Bears.
All right, I'll go with
The
The
Bears.
Natural. And my favorite baseball movie of all time. I've seen it. Probably more than any other movie, and that's Rookie of the Year.
Good pick.
That's the greatest baseball movie. The
Good late
kid
pick.
breaks his arm
Like
and he could throw 90.
it's based on a true story too.
I used to wish that would happen to me. Yeah, it was. I forgot.
Based on a true story. Rosengarten.
All right, so we got to take a look at what's left here, and I think a League of Their Own has a lot of legs in this, so this is a good value pick right here.
That's a good pick.
League of Their Own.
Yeah.
Okay, that leaves me. I'm definitely going with Angels in the Outfield.
That was my pick.
Faux show. Man, this one's tough. I'm gonna have to go with Major League 2. I think that's the smartest pick for me. Major League 2.
All right, let's see here. Let me write that down here.
Who's up? Christian's next now again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just read
Alright.
off. I'll just read off to the listeners while you're doing that. 8 men out.
Yeah.
Mr. 3000, the Scout, 42, and the Rookie are left on the board. I think I've had the best draft so far.
Yeah, well, when you cheat and get the first pick overall.
Oh my God,
of
you
course.
watched me fucking do it.
Right, because I didn't see you put
Right.
a staple in there. I haven't been looking at the screen the whole time. So, what out of what's left here? Oof.
Pick your poison.
Yeah, right. If I'm going for a win, Jesus Christ. I don't know. I'll take Mr. 3000.
Oh,
I
that was a
guess.
terrible pick.
Yeah, that was a
That was
really
not the
bad
smart
pick.
pick, dude. That
No,
was a
you had
terrible pick.
two that were better, and the two that were better were 8 Men Out and 42.
Yep.
Come to
Eight Men Out sucks, bro.
Team
That movie was
SGR.
terrible.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan
What
of
do
that.
you want? All right, so take what? So you got 2 picks coming up here. Take them.
I did. 8 Men Out,
So what were they?
8 Men Out,
Eight
42.
men
42.
and 42. So what am I going to leave Chris with here? Because
You're gonna
Chris
leave me
actually
with the
doesn't make.
scout.
He actually
Yeah,
doesn't make his.
totally.
He doesn't
I'm
actually
shocked.
make.
I'm shocked the rookie didn't get picked sooner. I am. That wasn't like a terrible.
I'm sure he was shocked he wasn't picked sooner. That's why they made
That's
a movie
true.
about
Yeah,
him.
that's why he was 50.
Yeah,
throwing
you
no-nos.
know what? No, you know what,
Jack
Chris? I'll let
Morris,
you ride
piece
with
of
it. I'll take the scout, and you can have the rookie. How about
Okay.
that?
Thank you. I love my fucking
I
draft.
really like my team.
No,
That's what
Christian by
everyone's-
far
that's what
drafted the
everyone
worst,
says. Oh, not even close.
and I will definitely win this one. I'm telling
Nah,
you.
you
now.
know
Right.
your biggest problem, Chris. You bet you went drafted with your heart, and you went with 61 in your first round.
Why did I do that though? Not only did I draft with my heart, but we're playing to Yankee fans.
But
They're
it
gonna
doesn't
see
matter.
61
No
and be
one
like,
knows what that
I gotta
means.
vote 61. I gotta
They
vote
don't.
61.
They don't know what. They don't know who Roger Maris is. I asked the kid at my school. I said, "Do you know who Derek Jeter is?" He goes, "Who's Derek Jeter?"
Oh.
Think about that. That's Derek Jeter.
Mm-mm. No.
I said, "Get out of my face" to him.
All right. Well, you know what, Ryan? Every time we play a game on the show, Chris loses. So I mean, he cheated
Yeah.
to get the first overall pick, to get the best draft.
Right.
He's the one that wanted the snake draft, so he could back to back his picks. So we'll let him. You know, if he wins, it's
You got
it's
to
a-
make
Yeah.
the next pick every single time, and you
It's
chose poorly.
Yeah, you did.
it's
bad.
you know what, dude? It's
regrets.
it's $10 that I'll gladly give to Chris for
Thank
for
you.
years of abuse.
Thank you.
But you know what? Even though he bitched out of not having his hair colored, he did get punched in the face when he was like really super fat
Come
and could
dye
have
my
died
hair.
from it.
Come dye my hair. Come tomorrow. I don't care.
Why don't you do it
Ah.
yourself?
All right, I will. That wasn't the deal though. Ryan was gonna do it.
Well, Ryan's been at your
Oh
house
no,
plenty
I
of
have
times.
to do it. Okay, I'll do it. I promise I'll do it in the next two. I'll
I
do
was-
it
I
before
always
opening
said I was gonna send
as
it,
a
but I never sent
tribute
it.
to opening day on that last show. You will see me.
All right, but wait though, that would be funny
I
though
will
if you
record it
also
and we
dye
will play. We'll play. a
dye
clip.
your mustache a little too, and then you gotta shave everything but the stash.
Okay.
He can't
fine.
fucking
Jet
grow a
black.
mustache. Let's not make
Yeah, you
impossible
can.
requests here. You can't grow a
You
mustache.
grow a mustache.
Mustache.
Little
All right.
kitty.
Yeah.
All right, so anybody that wants to see how this is going to shake out, I'm going to probably on maybe Monday night I'll send Chris the bracket so we can get a nice little graphic going, and then Tuesday we can start the voting, and it'll be wrapped up by the time we hit the show next weekend. So be on the lookout for that. Follow us on Twitter at NYY Sports Talk, because that's where we're going to post the polls. I know last week I promised a little maybe a giveaway, but we'll do that next week because we did the draft this week, so we'll have a little fun with that next week. All right, so that should wrap up episode 218 of the NYYST podcast. Ryan, I can see you need a little Noxema there, pal. A little, yeah. Okay. All right, so thank you for listening. Stat guy, Rye.
Go Yanks.
Chris, say goodbye.
Peace.